Hi.
Good evening, everybody. If you're just tuning in, welcome. You're listening live to the Angel Rock on United Public Radio Network. I'm your host, Lorilei Potvin. Before we start, we've added a few new things. I'm running the show tonight, so we'll see how it goes. Most of us hosts are going to be taking this over ourselves, and I said there's nothing like baptism by fire. Now, if you've been to the show before, welcome. If you're new, I want to let you know a little bit about myself and the show. I'm from Canada. I am a psychic medium, a crystal Reiki energy healer, a Catholic records practitioner, spiritual teacher, and mentor. And I'm also a registered nurse. And my show features people from all walks of life through their work or extracurricular activities or making a positive change for humanity. And I cover all aspects, I say, of the supernatural, whether that may be anything from UFOs to ETs. We cover the actual paranormal, which is all encompassing. But I also cover things like spirituality, power of the mind, energy healing, and so on and so forth. And tonight I have two very good friends. One of them you're very familiar with. He was just here a couple weeks ago, Aage Nost, and we have his host and partner, Nori Love, who I have been trying to get on here, and with hurricanes and me moving, it's never ever worked. Let me tell you both a little bit about Aage and Nori. So Aage is the jack of all trades, I call him. He speaks many languages. He's a pilot. He is a paralegal. He is, let me think, got to go on and on and on. Most of you know him. I know you know Nori too. Nori, I'm going to read her bio since she's new to us here. So, where are we going to go here? Nori, you got my bio, and I love it. This is Nori Love's professional journey has been a mission of realizing and grounding her calling through the health and wellness industry with energy work, healing modalities, and coaching. Nori is a fellow registered nurse, so we're sisters in the healthcare field, a certified life coach with a law of attraction specialty. Yes, she does. And she's also a professional hypnotherapist and Reiki master. And she said she brings Nori brings this unique combination of gifts and skills to her sessions, webinars, and master classes and the Center for Radiant Well-Being. I won't get into all of this, or we can talk about that. I do want to remind our folks, we are actually on, please let me get this right. We're not on a regular YouTube channel. It's our third one, and the name has completely escaped my mind here. I believe it's International Public Radio is our newest YouTube channel. Fortunately, we got a few strikes on our regular channels. But if you can't see us there, come watch the show on Facebook. It's actually streaming to my Facebook profile. I believe my Facebook group, Paranormal University. We are on UPRN Facebook page. We're on UFO Paranormal Radio when it comes to Twitch. And I don't think I'm missing anything else there. So you can find us in lots of places here, and we can see the comments. And I like to tell people that join in on the show live and read their comments or questions, make them feel like they're part of the show. So welcome, you two. Sorry for that long intro.
Hey,
How are
Laura.
you?
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Nori, Augie's going to be quiet tonight. Is that it? We're not going to have him talking?
Wow. That's a first.
You lost your voice, Aage?
Yeah.
No, I still have a little bit of it left. I've used up a lot of it, but I got a little bit left.
Well, yeah, you guys had something going on before this, didn't you, with the mastermind, as you thought?
Yes, we, oh gosh, Nori, we got to talk about this a little bit because we were doing a mastermind session here from, well, in our time, so on the West Coast here, 5 to 6 o'clock, and we had actually, I ran a short video by Greg Braden where he was talking about the universe and how we interact with it and how we, in fact, create it and how we can actually use it for our benefit instead of just waiting for things to happen.
Okay. Tell us more.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's so much better when he talks because he has credibility, and I'm just a guy, so no, he is sharp. He's one of the sharpest people out there. Greg Braden is one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is.
I followed his work, but I haven't had the opportunity to meet him yet. Maybe one day, or have him on the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
I will warn you, Aage knows this, and Nori knows this, and I want to shout out also to Joe Montaldo, the owner of UPRN. He's usually our producer. He's letting me man the helm tonight. I said to him, I said once already, there's nothing like baptism by fire. So
Right.
you know what? We're going to jump in. Free StreamYard is very simple to use. Now, the business one, a little different, just takes some finagling, but you know what? That's how you learn. So I want to thank him he's there if we run into problems, he told me. So thank him for everything that he does here. Really appreciate it. But what I was saying is he never censors us. But there's platforms for streaming too that we have to be very careful of the terminology that we may use. You guys are well aware of it with what's going on in the world as my dog decides to join the broadcast. All right, come up. It's not home. We won't give you a hard time. Anyways, so if you hear us, we'll be careful with what we say. She was outside. I think she's lonely. Mom was on the phone today. So
no, don't worry about it. Dogs are good people.
Aren't they good people? I agree. So, and I didn't talk to you guys about guys collectively, you know what I mean, Nori. But we're going to, you know why? Because we always have so much to talk about because we travel in the same circles. We do different kinds of work, but still within the same field. And I thought, I'm going to leave the floor open to you two. What do you think? You beautiful lady and wonderful gentleman, what would you like to discuss this evening?
Oh, well, what do you think, Nori?
I think we should talk about the mastermind since you just came from a session.
I just gave a little teaser there, and it is for those out there that has not heard anything about this yet. The mastermind. The definition of a mastermind is more or less, I would think, the only one that I can attach to is that when two or more minds are united in harmony, they create a third mind, which has the potential mind power of the two or more of them multiplied by each other. So if 100 people get together, or now let's say 1,000 people get together and concentrate on one thing with intention, with feeling, with emotion, with visualized images, you have the mind power of 1,000,000 minds, because now it is not just a thought anymore, it is an energy, magnified energy. And this is why Nori and I and our people in the group have been able to do some incredible things.
I'd love to share. Sorry, I didn't need to catch up, but I was going to say I would love for you to share because you guys I've been attending Sundays. I'm crazy. I miss you like crazy. I have my alarm still set, and then every time something comes up. But please share because people are going to say, "No way, that could never happen." Never, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We work on all kinds of benevolent and loving causes. You know, dangerous, lethal weather patterns. Peace during the elections. We worked on that. Of course, you know, we did a lot around, you know, the thing and the sickness.
The jab.
Yeah. Still working on that. And then we do, you know, personal intentions, you know, general well-being, abundance, whatever abundance means to you. But it's such an amazing Sunday. It's 2 hours. You don't have to be there for both. The formal mastermind happens at 2:00 Eastern, and it's like a guided meditation. I open it up, you know, a lot of progressive relaxation just to get the body calm so that we can go into the higher brain waves. Right. And so it's a super relaxing, really comfortable lead in, and then prior to going into that, everybody talks about what's fresh on their mind, what they really want to work on, what they want to intend for that session. And we just, Aage builds it in, and then I pick it back up. And now we're having people that want to participate. So we have one man who gets information from Pleiadians. So he's been adding some of that. And we have another person who's going to be adding some of his magic next week. And, it's like family and friends all mixed together. And it's just so amazing. And, the things that we talk about, the depth of the subjects that we reach, it's just so satisfying. It's so freeing. It's so liberating to be able to talk about, really out there quantum level conversations, really esoteric level conversations, or the conversations of your soul, so all of that happens there on Sunday, and it's amazing, Laura. I hope you make it sometime, at least one
I
time.
have been, and I've seen some things. I have a question for you, and then I'm going to get what I know Aage's talking about, but I'd love to tell these stories about healings that have happened, the classes that you guys have held.
Yeah.
For you, and I know we'll probably get more into it a little bit later.
Yeah. So
what I have been noticing, and feel free to put your 2 cents worth. I think we even talked about it. Hey, Michelle Pratt from Australia. Nice to see you. Glad you can make it. She's in the
Laura,
chat.
you're breaking up just a little.
I know, and I don't know why here. But, I have a problem. I'm going to see if I put some things, because there should be no reason for it. Nobody's on the internet. Close some apps. I had this problem on Sunday in our staff meeting, and my internet has been increased. So I may have to call my IS provider. So I apologize if I'm breaking up. I'm closing absolutely everything on my phone that I have here. We'll see if that helps. If not, and I hate to have to, I may have to turn off my camera, because I should have the bandwidth for this. So hopefully that's helping you guys. I don't know if it will or not. It seems a little bit better here on my end.
Better.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll close more, a few pages open. It actually has made quite a bit of a difference.
Okay.
Michelle's saying it might be my mic. Nope, not my mic. Just
not your
my
mic.
phone. Nope, I just use my phone.
Okay.
Anyways, what I was going to ask you is, I am noticing this, and people in our field, that manifestation seems to be happening much quicker.
Yes.
With very obvious things happening. Like, it's not like maybe this is a coincidence. Like, we are really seeing this. So, just putting it out there. Because I want people to also about the classes, some of the miraculous healings. But I'd love to talk about that, because I think it's so important right now that we need to be, raise our vibration.
Yes.
About, your classes and some of the incredible things that have happened, like the young lady that was palliative, and, the amazing turnaround, things like that.
Yeah. So that was Terry, who had cancer and stage 4, and actually was able to raise her vibration, as well as did a lot of work, with the alkaline in her body and supplementation, things like that. So she was able to raise herself up to a point where she actually had no signs of cancer. Unfortunately, whether it was her contract or it was just, too hard for her to hold it, she ended up getting it back later. And transitioned. Yeah. But she did it, Laura. She did it, not just, we were holding the space for her by masterminding, for her and with her. But she did the work, and she, I think it was her contract, honestly, but she did raise everything up to the point where she had no signs of cancer for a while.
Can you explain for some of our listeners? I understand what it means. I know you're going to jump in there, Aage. Just maybe what a contract is, because some people may not understand what that means.
Yeah. So this is not the formal definition. This is just my working definition of it. Many of us, I believe, we pick our parents. We pick a lot of the the things, the location that we end up living in, and some certain pathways, some timelines. We choose them before we come. And some of us, well, probably every one of us, but not everybody is open to the certainty of it. We have a time when our time here is over. And, you know, no matter what we do, or no matter what we try to do, or we just go, yeah, I'm going to go out and, you know, we're going to have a party before I go, you know, that's the end of your contract here. That's the end of your expression in this body. Now you may go, you know, and jump into a brand new body, start a new contract, right? But that's what it is. Yeah. It's just the agreements that we make before we take on this physical vehicle.
Just gonna stop right there. Poor Augie's trying to get a word in. Us chatty there.
Yeah, come on, Aage.
Say hi to God.
Well,
God bless you.
I'm totally in agreement with what Nori is saying, because there is a master plan for our coming here. And I think the major things in our life, where we're going to live, who we're going to be living with, married or otherwise, what education, what our work will be, those are fairly well designed towards our future progression in learning and growing. But I don't think everything is predetermined. If you drop your spoon on the floor tomorrow morning during breakfast, I don't think that was planned.
Right.
I think there are smaller things like this. So, but otherwise, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think she's right on target, because we seem to come back. I don't really want to come back anymore. I'm done. You know.
You're done? Yeah, a lot of people are saying that right now, and you know, people may notice that a lot of people are leaving the planet right now. I know. On my Facebook page, I am sending condolences at least 3 out of 5 days a week now. Have you noticed that, Laura?
Yeah, I've noticed it a lot. And we've had an interesting discussion, because we have a paranormal host panel here. And Joe brought this question up as food for thought, is what's happening with all these people that potentially have, not potentially, but those that have supposedly passed, of what's going on here. And then in the fact that he's alluding to the fact that it wasn't planned for, and that's exactly what I have given. It was planned for. It was always planned for. This is not something that was unexpected. And I also believe too that, you know, I'm seeing this with most people. Somebody just commented that I met from Australia. That's a psychic medium. We were talking about this, I believe it was last night. I'm positive it was him. But I have yet to meet somebody that I would classify as an older soul, or that's within this field of healers, light workers, light warriors, psychic mediums, whatever it may be.
Yes.
Not everybody, but a very large number of us carrying, well, I had a lot of trauma growing up. I had a very difficult upbringing and very difficult parents, whatever it may be. It's not been easy, but it's almost like we knew we were coming into this. We were prepared for it. We've all had so many lifetimes, but we've had that experience behind us, and we're able to, most of us, handle it. But I've also found that some people pick a very difficult life and they build in exit points.
Yes.
So it means that you might have had a near-fatal motorcycle accident at a certain point and you lived. Or you may have had, you know, some really serious things like that happen, or even near-death experiences, which give you that reminder of why you're here, right?
Yes.
So there's many different things. So I agree with you, Aage, about the fact you said there's a master plan, or when your number's up, it's your time to go. But I've also met people too where they had the choice. Some actually have been given the choice where you can stay if you like, but you still have more work to do. I've also heard from others that, no, it's not your time, you need to go back. What's your thoughts on that, guys?
Well, yeah, I think that we have a little bit of say in it to a certain point. And oh, this is good, because I saw a video on YouTube that was from Tibet. There were monks there. There were one man. He was very old, and he have decided that he's done. He want to go now. So they had him on camera when he lay down on the bed, and he decided that he was going to die at that moment. And he was laying there for about 5 minutes, and the heart stopped, and they put him they took him away.
Yeah.
He decided at that moment that he was going to go. There is a way to do this.
Yeah.
But they know how. Luckily, most people don't know how.
Right.
So,
but as nurses, and Nori, I'm sure you can back me up on this, I've had many patients that has just said that, no, I'm going to die. And a lot of people even said when.
Yes.
Not to the point like that. That is
Yes.
incredible.
Yeah.
Or it's coming. They know it's coming. Or they've given up on life.
Yes.
They've given up for whatever reason. They're ready, and it's not somebody maybe even terminal or anything.
Right.
It's that time, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You can will yourself out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you can. But then there's the hospice patient. I'll never forget. Like, there's the one hospice patient, the doctor says, you're going to be dead in 2 weeks. And she was dead in 2 weeks. And then there's the other one. He's like, you'll be dead in 2 weeks. She's like, oh, hell no. And this little old lady stayed 2 more years. Right. So, how much lateral do we have? I don't know. But like what Aage was saying, do we have, or what you said, Lord, do we have little built-in exit points along the way, just in case you're like, okay, this is too much for me, I'm done now,
walk-ins.
Oh yeah. Did you hear that there's going to be 6 billion walk-ins, or actually they're already on their way in?
Oh, wow. Now, what is that even going to look like? Because for those of you that aren't sure what a walk-in is, and it's very rare as far as I have seen or heard. Now, again, I don't know anything, but a true walk-in is somebody that, for whatever reason, you don't even have to be ill. I've heard of people going to bed,
yes,
waking up, and don't even know where they are, who their family is,
yes,
previously. And as I understand it, I'd love to hear your thoughts, is that for whatever reason, the soul has decided that, no, I'm not ready to die. But, because it's a real privilege to be here. I don't think a lot of people realize this. There are so many souls that would love to come. And the most difficult places to incarnate, I got this from Spirit. This is the place where you get the most growth, education, and you name it, for your soul. You walk in here, you're born into this life with spiritual amnesia, with this very flimsy, heavy, clumsy body, and it really is one of the most difficult places. And there's so many souls that would love to come, because so many people think they're here by accident.
No, no, we signed up for this. But what I heard about these, Laura, is that a lot of it has to do with your contract. Some people are going to have the walk-in come in, and they're going to somehow stay semi-present.
Okay, gotcha.
To be part of that still. Some of them are just going to walk in and take over, and that person's going to leave. But my friend, this was so funny. We were talking about this. She's like, well, how am I going to know if I'm a walk-in? I said, well, you know what? If you wake up tomorrow morning and suddenly you can do quantum physics, you'll know that you're a walk-in. So she wrote a note to her family. She said, if I wake up and I'm different, call Nori.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with my provider. I may have to. I'm hoping it's just good. I'm right by my router too. I don't get it. So guys, if worst comes to worst, I may even try turning off my
okay.
To have said genetic gods prevail, please. What's your thoughts on all this, Aage? And I want to hear too, why so many ones?
It's because of what's coming, because of what's happening, and because of what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're part of the intervention, Laura. You know what? That actually seems like it might make it worse with your camera off.
It works?
It sounds worse.
I thought so.
Yeah. Bless your heart.
I don't understand this problem. It just seems that when I've taken over for StreamYard in the staff meeting, that's the same problem. And I thought, well, maybe it's the internet being the weekend. I have no idea. We're going to have to look into this because we have fiber optic cable. It's not 5G, but thank God. But we went to super high speed to make sure we could stream. So we'll figure this out for you guys next week. I promise. Would you mind comment? You've been so patient. I'd love to read some comments. We've got some great comments here.
Yes, yes. Aage, what does Aage think about the walk-ins? What do you think about the walk-ins, Aage?
Well, I prefer not to have one. I want to be myself.
I knew that.
But on the other hand, I think that if you, I haven't heard this. I heard a rumor about walk-ins coming, but I didn't hear how many or anything. That's phenomenal. That's 90% of the people on Earth.
Exactly.
And if that's the case, I am all for it.
Right?
That'll just move out the negative consciousness of all the, there's a term for them. Now that's going to be a good thing if that were to be that way.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, that'll be good. And the thing about it, when we were talking about the contract, that involves also us later on being able to create within our existence.
Yes.
And when we create, very often that will be according to what we were planned to do, according to that master plan.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, creating by yourself, it could be in your master plan that you are going to rise to a vibration when you figure it out that, gosh, creating by myself is tough. I want to find a partner in life that I can create with so the two of us can get together and become more strong at it. Or many of our members in the mastermind group have figured it out also that when we are a group, we can create so much more and so much better than doing it by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what's happening. Nori and I get the emails from people that have phenomenal things happening to them. Like one lady, she was donated a house, and there is many other things, issues. And there is stories that's coming through the email, private ones that they don't really want to talk about among the group, that it's just private to them. And this is happening pretty much all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tend to agree with what you said in the beginning, Laura, that manifestation was happening so quickly. And, I noticed it. I noticed it with little things, like the car parking lots and spaces and things like that. I was like, oh, like this is happening more frequently for me than my usual pattern. So then when I started putting more intention and more focus.
I'm back. I closed all my tabs.
It's good.
And I went, oh my God, I just closed StreamYard. Sorry, guys.
It's good. It's better.
Okay, but I might have to do that, guys. If I have to duck out, I was worried, and I thought, no, you guys are seasoned pros. You'll still hang in there. Sorry, carry on.
That's
way
okay.
better.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
you sound better now.
I know, right?
Yeah. So let's do it. If I have
to
do that, that's what we'll do. I'll duck out if I have to very quickly. I'll give you warning this time because I closed all my tabs. Everything is closed, so there should be nothing going to the bandwidth on my phone but this one page, and I may very well have to do that. It's a learning process, guys.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody here. I do want to give a quick shout out, though. We've got a few people in the
Yeah.
chat. We've got Goddess Bless You 1983, some very interesting comments. And we've got Steve O. Hopkins, who's also a friend of mine, too. Welcome, guys. Feel free to ask questions, comments, and carry on. I didn't mean to interrupt, guys. You were right in the middle of something.
Well, we were talking about manifestation, and when I noticed that the things that I usually manifest, you know, the car parking spaces, things like that, were happening more frequently, it made me pay attention. And then I noticed when I was not disciplined with maybe my anger or my negativity, that it exploded into really big proportions. So I was like, you know what? I think something's happening here. So I began becoming more faithful, you know, and more focused to my vibrational practice, you know, just to always try to reach for the better feeling thought. And that, you know, because a lot of people say, you know, I can't walk around with unicorns and, you know, fairy dust over my head all day. And we don't have to in order to be in the manifesting place. As if we're in like the absolute worst mood on the planet, but we just go, wow, I am in the worst mood ever. What can I think about that could be just a step up from that? And then we think about that. Oh, I love my dog so much, right? So that lightens your vibration. That keeps you in the manifesting realm. You don't have to be unicorns and fairy dust and all of that. But as long as we are just constantly trying to reach for the better feeling thought, then all of the things that we intended for are moving to us and we're moving toward it. Yeah. You agree, Aage?
Absolutely. My thing is, I think about coffee.
Do you?
Big shocker there.
Yeah, big shocker.
So important.
We
Especially collectively. What is going on? I would give a shout out to Debbie Schmoley. Welcome, Debbie. Good to see you joining us. Because, you know, collectively around the globe, we've seen so much division, so much anger, you know, hatred, you know, just meanness, like real meanness.
Yes.
And I was having a really long conversation with a very close friend of mine today. And we were talking about something difficult she'd been through. Thank God for Spirit. I usually talk to her every day. And, you know, I've been so busy. It's been a couple of weeks that's gone by. And Spirit was literally nagging me every 30 seconds. You need to contact her. You need to contact her.
Yes.
You need to contact her. I'm so glad that I did. But some of the things we talked about is, and again, this sounds cliche. I don't believe it is. So nothing happens by accident. I don't believe there's any coincidences, as do you guys. I know either.
Yes.
And I said that maybe the way things played out was something very traumatic that led to where she's at in this space right now. And I said, I think it was meant to happen. This person had mentioned, I've had an up-leveling. I think, and I kept hearing from Spirit, was long overdue.
Yes.
The other thing, though, that kept coming up, which I think is so important, was to give yourself grace.
Absolutely.
There is no blame. There is no nothing. I made my bed. I lied in it. No, you didn't.
Yes.
You're here for a reason. And, you know, this feels, it was a big change in this person's life, and it feels very odd. It's very uncomfortable. I said, then we need to sit with those feelings. We need to see, what is it telling us? And again, I'm not trying to be overly, you know,
No, it's good. Yeah.
It's so important. And I believe that by giving ourselves grace, by working on that self-love, even I'm working with a couple people in Spirit right now, getting information from Spirit about what they can give us from the other side to help humanity. And I'm not saying I'm the great white savior. I'm not saying that. But if there's something that we can do with connection to the other side, and part of that is, it was something that came through very importantly. And we believe it was Albert Einstein, if you can believe it. And as we were doing this, talking about it, we were all to laugh and said, oh, dear God, if there was a fly in the wall, let another human being listening to this. But he said something very important. And he said, we need to sit in the quiet. That is when we will have the answers. Now, I know the two of you, between meditation, between hypnosis, what do you think about that?
I agree with you 100%. And even personally, recently, I had a conversation with Aage that went like this. Aage, I am going through one of the biggest transformations of my life. I am going through one of the biggest changes of my life, and I am so uncomfortable. I am not fit for human consumption. And that's literally exactly what I had to do, Laura. I had to just go be with the feeling, be with the uncertainty. And like it's like I had Velcro and somebody ripped the Velcro apart and I was just like floating. I had no idea what was next, but I had to just sit and be with it. And, that's when the answers come. I mean, you sit and you be with it, you sit and you be with it. Then you go out to the grocery store and you're in the toilet paper aisle and all of a sudden you have an epiphany like, oh, right. And then you get just a little piece of the puzzle, and then you go home and you're doing something and you don't always get the answers when you're sitting with it. But I think it's the acknowledgement and the acceptance of, here's what I'm feeling right now. It's not great. I'm not butterflies and rainbows right now. I am just sitting with it. I think there's so much freedom and it opens up that pathway, right, to communication through the veil, with your guides, with your masters, with God. Yeah, I am with you 100% on that, Laura.
What do
Actually,
you think?
Actually, that's so important, and it cannot be overstated because meditation is usually the gate to higher consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And the people, every super successful people in the world, just about all of them, they take time out for themselves in quiet contemplation, prayer, or meditation, or in nature.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't do that, they don't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are in nature, in meditation, or whatever they do, that's when they get the inspiration and the knowledge that they need for what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the listeners out there, if you are not meditating, you should.
Well, didn't you say, Aage, I don't want to cut you off if you were going to say it, but maybe I'm positive it was you, that if you, or maybe I read this, but I think you've said it before, that if you have trouble being able to meditate for 15 minutes, you should be adding another hour or something. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was a monk that said that one time.
Yes.
I plagiarized it from him, and he said everybody should meditate 20 minutes a day. But if you're too busy, you need to meditate an hour.
Yes, that was it.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. But you know what happens, and what people get so hung up on, I find, with meditation, yes, you're too busy. I was one in the beginning, and I had a mentor that didn't want to say it. They had their own show, and I had called in, and they were completely red in the face, and they kept saying to Spirit, no, I'm not saying that. No. And finally, the person said, apparently you'll be okay with this. I'm absolutely mortified. You can tell by the color of my face.
Uh-huh.
The Spirit wants me to ask you, do you have time to go to the bathroom every day? I go, well, everybody goes to the bathroom. And they then said, that's what Spirit said. So most people spend longer than a minute, unless you get a super crazy day, even if it's 5 minutes, to be able to spend that time. So people, I find, get hung up on the fact that they can't clear their mind. The more they think about it, I can't clear my mind, the more it becomes a problem. Second thing is, people think you need to sit there for hours and hours and hours to meditate to get effectiveness.
Right.
The other thing they don't think that there's so many different kinds of meditation.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to add for myself, for example, and being just as crazy busy as everybody else, that this is no different. I've been living my life like this for years. I really have, with the back injury. Yes. And I've had to create something to keep myself busy that's purposeful, enjoyable, helps keep my vibration raised. And but what I have found, and I'm not much of a sleeper, most people that have pain usually grab what they can and when. And I know we have a lot of people listening, that's why I mentioned, but my point is, I'm launching a resin business right now. I love it.
What is it, Laura? What is it?
Resin.
Resin?
Yeah, actually, I'll show you a piece. I got it right over here. I don't know if you usually do this, but I'm going to do
Wonderful.
it. Hang on. I have right here some of them. My whole dining room table. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to pull it downstairs.
Cool.
What it is I have molds and what have you. These aren't covered yet. this will be a box. There's a box. I hand painted all
That
that.
is beautiful.
It's not even all shiny and pretty. That's just the lid.
I might have to buy that.
That's all hand painted
Wow, Laura.
and poured.
Wow.
This was, I will tell you, a labor of love, though. That was all hand.
Aw, that's adorable.
And that's all poured. Like that's not bought. Like I made it.
Wow.
And lastly, I of course pull out Darth Vader too. But the one I want to show,
Aw,
and
that's
this
great.
is a prize for John. John, if you're watching, I have not forgot you. It has been so hot. So it's not finished, guys. I'm making these. These are crystal charging
Oh,
resin plates. There's crystals in the middle.
oh,
Now there's a few.
that's amazing.
Well, there's a few little scratchies on there because I have to pour more resin because it gets a few.
Wow, that's
But
beautiful.
the reason why I'm doing this is because at night it's quiet,
Yeah.
meditative. We're creating. Aage, wasn't it you talking about creating? We're creating. Okay, what I'm doing, I love it. It brings me joy. And this is what I've been saying to people all year, last year and a half. You need to do, if you're looking on how to raise your vibration, I'm telling you what to do, but what brings you joy?
Exactly.
And when people say, nothing brings me joy, my next thing is, what did you used to love to do as a child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To create joy, you gotta, if you don't have it, you gotta put yourself in a different environment.
Mm-hmm.
That changes your way of thinking and it changes everything. And I want to stay with that concept of creation a little more. When we come to this earth, we have a bunch of tasks that we are loaded with in our consciousness that we probably should be doing in order to further our growth and our spiritual growth, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But why do we have to come back ever so often? There is maybe a way. This is something that came to me during the download that I had 7 years ago, when things like this were explained. At least there was an understanding with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that we have things that we came here in the master plan. And there's a bunch of stuff in that master plan that very likely we will not be able to do all of it.
Right.
Some of the things in that master plan is finding out who we are, what the universe is, what life is, what is the difference between life and an existence.
Oh,
There's
I
a
like that.
huge difference here.
Mm-hmm.
Life is life. We do not have life here. We have an existence because our physical existence is created by the mind. Well, both actually.
Yeah.
Mind. And it is projected around us as the existence we are living.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, according to quantum mechanics and me, this is not real. It is a projection with material understanding that creates the computer I just knocked on.
Mm-hmm.
So if we understand that, and if we learn all these things this time around, we don't have to come back. So why not try to figure out who we are, what the universe is, and what's the difference between life and existence, and some of these things, so we don't have to come back. And I'm thinking I have figured it out.
Very well.
If I'm wrong, I'll be back.
No, but with the universal download, you may have to explain that for some people listening too, because they may not understand it. You were the first person I met years ago, not years and years and eons ago. I don't mean that, but I've known you for quite a few years. That's how I met the lovely Nori as well at our old station we used to be at many years ago.
Yeah.
But I agree with everything that you're saying. But the thing is, I think, and this is what I think is going on with all what we're going through right now, is there's going to be a huge shift. Many that are listening right now in the chat, I know have heard of it. I believe that this is part of it. And hopefully I'm still alive for the day where I see, babies being raised, that meditation is normal. Yeah. Raising your vibration is normal. All of these things that we're teaching and we're learning in life, you know, as we're even adults. Some have learned as children. But you know what? To be raised with all that as a normality, can you imagine where the human race would be when they get to be our, I'm not saying we're not old, I'm saying we're adults. But, you know, when you get to young adulthood, that all this is the norm and manifestation is possible. And I always say, as human beings, we are so powerful. All the things we've been told that are never possible is quite capable for us to be able to do. The one thing I do want to also add quickly, Aage, when the one friend of mine that's so gifted was channeling Einstein when we were speaking to him, he first started, he was apparently typing, and it was like MS-DOS, and you could see him typing, right? And I couldn't see it. I could see it in the mind's eye, but the person that was channeling him. And he started to type the theory of R, and we're going, no, dude, no, don't even go there. No,
it's been done.
No physics here. Sorry, none of us. But what he was explaining was almost word for word after that, what you were talking about. I don't have the words he used. They were so beautiful. But he was trying to explain about air as you move your hand through it versus the 3D existence. And then he used the example of a rainbow. Say you walk through a rainbow, you could walk through it. All the particles would dissipate. And as you walk through it, they all reconnect again. But when you look back, they're slightly changed. But the whole point is, it's all an illusion. We've been taught to believe that human beings are solid, that tables are solid, that walls are solid. Now imagine if we were never taught that anything's just a bunch of atoms and we can actually just go right through it.
Yes.
Yeah, that is exactly what we were talking about on the mastermind here about an hour ago and 15 minutes ago. Right there. What is the universe? Yeah, there's atoms in it, but what creates the atoms? We do.
You know what's mind-blowing to me when I realized this is everything on this planet somebody has thought of. Don't get me wrong, nature, human beings, whatever your creator, your higher power belief is in. Yes, that came from, I'll say they. But anything that is, we'll say, man-made or anything we've seen on this earth, somebody has thought of it. Somebody has created it.
Yes.
When you sit with that and you think of everything that's on this planet, how huge that is and what we're capable of.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. And when children are being raised, you know, to live that way, to be, right? To be, I mean, we come to the planet that way, but we get it learned out of us. We get it taught out of us. So that would be amazing when that happens. And I think it will happen.
So let's give April Devon Palase a huge.
Oh, I love April. Hi, April. Yay.
Yeah, she says, I teach my early childhood students to meditate. We do it regularly.
April is here. She is in the mastermind group with us. That's
She's
wonderful.
Amazing.
Hi, April. I haven't met you yet. I will get back there. I used to move regularly. I will get back there. I thought this is cool. Goddess Bless You, 1983 wrote, and for me, beating is a form of meditation.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. In fact, there are some schools in Japan now that start out in the morning with the kids. They start out with a short meditation, like 5 minutes or so. And that's good enough. A short meditation like that, I've been advocating that for a long time, because once you close the mind down like that, you exercise the channel from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind, through the superconscious mind into the universal mind. You exercise the channel every time you do it.
And you know what? I think you brought up an important point there, Aage. And I have found this when I get super busy and I don't have time to meditate.
Yes.
I find whenever something's going on in my life, I start to crave it. I need that silence. I need to have that conversation. And no, I'm not hearing voices. I don't belong in a lock board.
Yeah, then you need to meditate an hour.
Yes. No, but like I said, sometimes it's all night long, because there's not that many, except for my friends in Australia, like Michelle, or I'm getting to know more and more people in Australia. On the whole, it's pretty quiet, because most people I know are pretty well within like it's not the difference between like Australia and North America. So I have that time where it's quiet. I have a son with severe autism, so he goes to bed at clockwork at 12:30. He'll be up at 7 a.m. and he's no bother at all. I believe he's very linked with me though, because if say we don't all have great days, it's not all rainbows and sunshine, and say I'm concerned about something or I'm thinking about it, it's like he's got a beeline honed into me. Mommy, okay? Mom, you okay?
Aww.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is, right, so I have the time to not have to worry about putting that energy signature, if you will. I'm getting really woo-woo tonight. I'm not usually like this.
This is
But
good.
it's true.
Yeah.
And so, nobody's there to have a conversation with. I love talking to people, talk to people all day. But I have that quiet time. And I really believe whether it's your body or you got a problem, no matter what it is, you ask, and it really is, it sounds so cliche, but ask and the answer shall be given.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about meditation for a while, and I just have to say this. For the people out there that say, gee, meditation, yeah, I heard about it, but what is it? Well, you can learn and find out more about it. Go to YouTube and listen to some of the videos out there, find it, but also go to Broadcast Team Alpha. That is Nori on my website. We have classes on self-hypnosis, meditation, increasing psychic abilities, and also how to think like billionaires do to be successful at anything you want to do. So go in there and look under classes, Broadcast Team Alpha. Look under classes and you will find it. Now these are classes that is so reasonable. Anybody can do it. So you need to be a member of the Mastermind Connection group, which then it gives you access to the classes.
You guys are pretty kind, though. You give quite a bit away for free as well. It's not paid.
All the live sessions are free.
Like Sundays are always free. I know there's been classes out there that will help people and get you started, get your foot in the door to figure out where what works for you. Even to be able to connect with like-minded people is huge, I believe.
Yes. And so to be a member of the mastermind, that's at Patreon.
I was going to mention that, and I thought, okay, maybe it's a different one, but I was pretty sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So my question that I asked earlier, why do you think that manifestation is happening quicker over what we've been going through, considering collectively where people's energy is at? And it's not at a high vibration. Lots of people are, but there's a multitude that are not. So why do you guys think this is happening?
Let me grab that for just a second.
Okay.
And then you follow me up here because you can speak more in color on this than I can probably, Nori. But this is a technical thing that is actually happening for the greatest part of it. And that is that every 26,800 years or so, we go around the great circle of the galaxy that we are sitting in. We're about 3/4 of the way out from the center. And every 26,800 and some years, we go around this thing. When that happens, there is one area where there's a spike of other radiation coming out from the center of the galaxy.
Okay.
This was also explained to me in that download. And now the science the quantum physicists are coming, they're saying there is this area. They're talking about it now. They didn't do that back then. But when we pass through that, there is probably, I don't remember what radiation it was, but gamma radiation is probably part of it. It raises the vibration of everybody that is passing through it. And we are approaching it to be in that spike of radiation coming out from the center of the galaxy. Many people call this the photon belt. So this is what we are passing through, and it will raise everything in there to a higher vibration. And it can manifest itself in many different ways. For people that is spiritually inclined, we will become more spiritually inclined. For the not so. I'm looking for that term again, and I'm not finding it. The ones that really don't give a rip about that, but they're all into money and control and killing people and whatever that's going on right now. They are going to go and fall out. So they could end up with a lower vibration. And that's why we have so much difference. There are bigger differences now than we had before.
Mm-hmm.
But there are also other things that happens with the mind, and I would love for Nori to follow me up
I
on
just
that.
want to ask one question. Is this why we're seeing the increase in the Schumann resonance as well? We're seeing it rise quite a bit.
I couldn't hear that.
The Schumann resonance, that's why we're seeing this as well?
Yeah, that is part of it.
Okay.
You know, because right now, the Schumann resonance have had spikes to way over 100 on the scale. And anytime it gets above 40, we get strange things happening in the mind, like psychic abilities suddenly hitting us, and we understand things that we didn't do before.
Mm-hmm.
And we have also better memory when it stays up there. We just talked about this an hour and a half ago on the mastermind. So
that's so funny. What do you have to add to that, Nori?
I don't have the nuts and the bolts, you know, like Aage does. It's more of an energetic, a spiritual kind of energy.
That's what's so beautiful about this, because we're giving a holistic, view of this. There's something for everybody here.
I think that we've reached the tipping point, that there are enough of us that are intending to raise the vibration. And I mean, and that includes every single person that says, I just want to love. I just want to love, right? It could be the cafeteria lady, right? I just want to love. God is love, right? Those people add to that. And I think that we've reached the tipping point in the vibration, in the consciousness, that the pathway is so open to us where it wasn't. You know, it was more dense, and the energies have accelerated. Our light bodies are coming online. You know, we're waking up to the truth of who we are. And that's why I think it's happening so much more readily. And
I totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. You see it all the way around you. Think about this, Nori. What if you talked about things like we're talking about now, 20 years ago? They would have left you out of town.
Oh yeah, no, that wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
Like I said, when we're doing this channeling session, and the one person I knew not super well, I know them very well now. The other lady I'd never met, but she was told to contact me and be part of this. And I found it unusual. And then I realized that, you know, when we're working with energies, and a lot of people that are in the light worker field, and rightfully so, don't have to be around negative energy or have to experience negative paranormal. Whereas I've been around that, and I think it was very helpful, because there were a few things that was questionable that were coming through, and maybe didn't feel familiar, if you will, to be able to suss out what exactly is this. Now, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not saying I was the big white savior here or anything, but I was familiar with certain things like that. So I think that that's why, you know, that kind of knowledge base was sort of called in to deal with some of this. And like I say, I will tell you guys, we have gotten names from this one person that we had no idea who they are, what they are, whatever. Look them up and just about fall off your chair when you find out some of these names, what's involved with it. Again, when you said, would we have discussed this 20 years ago? God, no. Like, we literally were in the middle of something, all started to look at each other and started just rolling, laughing, thinking, oh dear God, if someone was outside this window right now hearing what we're saying.
Right?
Yes.
It's so funny. It's so funny. I mean, 20 years ago or more, I lived in Virginia Beach, right, where the Edgar Cayce Foundation was, the Association for Research and Enlightenment. And we would meet in somebody's house every week with a white cassette tape of Abraham Hicks.
Okay.
And we would all sit, around the cassette player and listen to Abraham Hicks, but we couldn't talk about it, once we left there. Yeah. Yeah.
Contraband, spiritual contraband.
Exactly. So funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
But this was really funny, some of the stuff that came through. And I feel comfortable saying it because, I'm keeping the person's confidentiality. I'm not going, not that it's a secret, but I like to do that. I think as nurses, as anybody with conscience, but as nurses especially, we hold confidentiality. So here. But you knew that this claimed to be Einstein. You knew that they knew what they were talking about because they were giving, this is what needs to be done. This is what's this is what's that. And I never said a word out loud. And I know the other two didn't. And then we heard, no, I'm not giving you the answer. And all three of us had been thinking, well, how? Like just things like that, right? So you knew you were talking to somebody in spirit. Yes. So, like I said, he was giving directions, and there were certain things about that have actually, been around for many years that we wrote off as fantasy. That like really speaking in riddles. But then again, you can understand why, though, right? We're here to learn. We're here. All the things you just mentioned, Aage, that we're here to figure out. That's not their job to give us the answers. Nice to be able to give us some clues or breadcrumbs, but that's why we're here, right? They're not here to do the work for us, right?
And if you are a teacher, or if you're one of those people that impart growth, right, in other people, you don't know, right? You don't experience, you don't take it on as your own if the information's just given to you, right? Mm-hmm. I know as a Reiki master, when people who I'm attuning to Reiki level 1 and 2, I don't just give them the information. I pose questions, or I pose scenarios that hopefully will spark the question in them. And then when they ask the question, and I make them dig a little bit deeper on their own to come to their own answer, then it's theirs. It's theirs forever, right?
Yeah, it's meaningful.
Yeah. Love that.
I think that's human nature, though, that when we get something very easily, yes, of course, we could be grateful or have some gratitude the first time. But if it's sort of a given, as the saying is,
yes,
people don't value it the same way as when you've worked for it or toiled for it or had to really dig deep for it. And I think there's memory with it. Go ahead, Aage. You were going to say something.
Hey, I see Steve Hopkins in the chat room.
Where do you guys see the chat?
Yeah, moonlight walks are great meditation.
I'm with Steve. I am with Steve. Absolutely.
I can highlight comments I found out. I couldn't do it, Aage, when we were on, because remember I told you this was coming, that we would get to do the broadcast, and I love this. And next time you guys come on, like Aage, remember you had all those websites when you were on a couple weeks ago and whatever. Now I know that I can stick them all in ahead of time. I can play them. That's why I was saying, like, this is a new skill. It's a little complicated. Some people, it's really scary because it's very technologically advanced. And I had this conversation with someone, and I'm not perfect, but I say, if I'm going to talk the talk, I try to walk the walk. And they were saying, this is just, I'm just overwhelmed. I can't do this, blah, 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 blah. And I said, listen, how about just think about this for a sec. If you give yourself, this word grace seems to keep coming up.
I love that.
Give yourself grace with the fact that, yes, you're acknowledging this is new. It's scary. It seems very overwhelming and complicated. But look forward in the future to even back when you've had to learn something that seems so overwhelming, but you conquered it, you learned it. It's like second nature, such as driving, for example.
Yes.
And what happens is, right, look at all the positives, like what I just mentioned. I said, you get to pull in whatever you need. We won't have to rely on a wonderful producer, Joe. He sits there all night, produces every show. You'll be able to pull it in when you need it. You can do all kinds of wonderful creative things. So if we can look at the positives, because there's always a positive, even in a negative situation, we may not be able to see it right away.
Yes.
But even being open to the fact that, and again, it sounds so cliche, but it's not really. Everything happens for a reason. And again, it might not be apparent in the beginning, but when you look back with a little bit of time and you see all the pieces all start to fall into place about why. And Spirit keeps wanting me to share this. Like, you two were so instrumental. I haven't been quiet about this, that we very quickly lost our house, not because we didn't care. We were in a fight. You two were my pillars. And Nori, I've never forgotten. We talked about I could have fought this. And I still remember your words today. You said, how about, have you ever thought about looking at this as a gift? And when I did, it changed. Aage, I remember talking to you. I was actually in Winners, which is the Canadian version of Marshalls or TJ Maxx. And we were talking about this place I'm in now. And this was exactly what I wanted. I wanted to get a townhouse. I wanted great neighbors. I wanted all that. And I remember you saying to me, you manifested that. So I'm so grateful. But the reason why I mentioned this is gratitude. And folks, when you're having a rough day and you're really, really, there's a lot of people having a hard time right now, reach out. Reach out to somebody that loves you and cares about you. Because I can tell you right now, even the long conversation I had today with my very close friend, and I know she didn't want to bother anybody, but by the end of the conversation, we were like just holding our stomachs from laughing.
Yay.
Because who knows you better than your friend, right? And can
Yes.
laugh, and you just feel better all over. What do you guys think about that, between the gratitude and, I know what you're going to say, but for everybody else, the gratitude and being able to be with people that make you feel good and laugh?
Absolutely. But I want to go back to what if this is a gift, right? What if just everything that would have made you feel uncertain and unsure and scared was happening to you? Exactly. And to this day, I have never seen anybody apply the principles, right? Like really apply it. Laura, what if there's a gift in this? You're right. You took that on and you released all of that other negative stuff. I've never seen anybody do it so
because I was so ready.
Oh, it was so good. So good. Yeah, that's why you manifested so quickly. Yeah.
But I think it's important for people to hear things like this, because a lot of people, for the longest time, I didn't understand the law of attraction. I'd seen the movie The Secret. It sounded so amazing. It sounded so wonderful. And it seemed to work.
Right. You're at home rubbing the genie lamp and nothing's happening, right? Yeah. 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 Because they left some stuff out, that you have to take inspired action, that you have to build momentum on your own. The genie isn't going to do it. That you, in the midst of trauma and pain and fear, you stood up and said, yeah, you know what? There probably is a gift in this. That is one of the hardest things for any of us to do, because we're habitualized, right, to those emotions, right? Our mother reacted that way. Our grandmother reacted that way. All the people in the church said we should act that way. And then we say, no, I'm trying something completely different. Talk about ripping Velcro off, right?
Well, there were so many lessons in that. And it's one thing my friend reminded me that I say this very often. It's all just stuff. And you know what? We were supposed to have 72 hours to be able to go in and get everything.
I remember.
We got 12. And I thanked God for it, because my son brought in about 12 strong guys, what we needed. The only thing I said I regret is not my china cabinet, but it's just... No, it's just stuff.
Yeah.
There'll be another one. I've been working on manifesting a house now, I said. But the whole point I'm saying is, when you're moving out of a house with 25 years of whatever, you learn to prioritize what is important, what's not, but then you really do realize it's just stuff. You can't take it with you. You can't.
Yes, exactly. And how much stuff do we have just because it's familiar? Right? Yeah.
There's both physical stuff and mental stuff, and you got to remember what George Carlin says about stuff. So we got to be careful with that stuff.
I love George Carlin. You know what? He was before his time. I think.
Brilliant.
He was.
But when we're talking about all these things right now, manifestation, remember also that it is better. Well, I think it is better, and it feels more comfortable and feels more like home if you're doing it with family. And that's why right now I'm going to invite the listeners, contact us to come and join us and check out the Mastermind Connection on Sundays at 2 o'clock in the afternoon East Coast time and 11 o'clock a.m. on Sundays, West Coast time. And send us an email, and we will get you some information and a link and everything that you need to understand and join us. So send the email to that's the wrong one. The Mastermind Connection at gmail.com.
Wow, Steve.
The Mastermind Connection at gmail.com. Send an email and we will get you some information. And another thing also is that Nori is right now putting out a class on law of attraction.
In action.
Yeah.
Yes.
Speak a little bit on that, because this is so important.
Yeah.
We're talking about manifestation. This falls right in line.
Yeah. So it's law of attraction in action, Laura, and it's actually speaking to what you said. We all watched The Secret, and we all sat at home, with our intentions, rubbing the genie lamp, and the car didn't fall through the ceiling. It didn't happen. The relationship didn't happen. So this is law of attraction in action, and this is where we just have so much fun learning some tools and some processes that we can apply. Like when you took that, maybe this is a gift process, and lived it, everything happened, right? So it's the tools and the processes for us to make things start to happen right away. It started last week, but you can still join us. It's for 4 weeks, so there's 3 more weeks. You can still join us, and you can watch the replay for the first class. The first class was just an overview and like an icebreaker. We had like 22 people there. I mean, and just the amazing, heart-centered, brilliant, out-of-the-box thinkers that we are, all in one place. So much fun. So people can come and join us there. And if you're interested in that, you can just send an email to Mastermind Connection at gmail.com. It's $27 for people who are not in our Patreon group, and it's $15 for people who are. And why is it so ridiculously inexpensive? Because we believe that it's time for people to have tools that really, really work. We wanted to reach as many people as we possibly could, but we also know that if you don't have a little skin in the game, it might not be as meaningful. You might not learn as deeply and as comprehensively as if you had to pay a little bit for it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to put you guys on the spot here. We don't have to do it right now, but we're talking about the mastermind. We're talking about these amazing things. I think we've done it once with Aage before. So before we end, we've got still time. It's 10:23 Eastern, and we end just before 11. Would you guys feel comfortable leading people on something that we might be able to say, help them manifest with the world, whether it's, love, it's peace, it's more positive, whatever we want to see. Maybe there's something, people in the chat can add we've got people there. Some people are adding things. Congratulations, Steve-O, on your first house.
Yes, so good.
What do you guys think? And I don't mean to put you on the spot because we didn't ask about it before, but it'll give people a little taste of what's going on in the mastermind and why it's so vital. The more that you have there, the more powerful it will be.
Yes, absolutely. If people would like to, come up with an intention, whatever it might be, we can do, I call it a guided imagery, and nurses, right? We're taught guided imagery. I call it guided imagery because I want to take the word meditation out of it, so people don't go, oh God, I've never meditated, I can't meditate. But really, meditation is just getting your brain waves to calm down into a nice, kind of slower pattern. And you can do that just by listening to the fun things that I, bring to your mind's eye, the colors and the feeling and the smells and the sense. And before you know it, you're in those brain waves. And that's also the place where manifestation happens. If we could walk around in a meditative state of mind, we would be manifesting left and right and all the time, because it's in that brainwave, it's in that state of consciousness where we don't get all balled up and close ourselves off to the feeling of the things that we desire. Right. I mean, I know Steve, when he was going to buy his house, I'm sure he looked at enough houses where he, and maybe if he bought it with somebody else,
Kelly, his wife.
Yeah, with his wife, had that conversation where you're like, yeah, and I like this house because it had that and this, but if we could put it all together, and you're just deep in the feeling of that house that you really, really want, and boom, that's when you connect with the manifesting brain waves of the universe. So it starts to move towards you and you start to move toward it. And then you take inspired action, right? You wake up and you say, oh, we don't have any coffee. Let's go down the road. Well, no, I haven't done my hair. Yeah, go ahead, put a cap on. Let's go down the road. You go down the road and you happen to meet somebody who knows somebody who knew a realtor, and bam, there's your house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would be open to do that. I'm going to go grab some water.
Go ahead.
If I may. Yep.
Absolutely. And I think one of the big pieces of the puzzle, and I know that I didn't do this because I had to or wanted to, but my mother-in-law was so kind to take us in, and I said that to her. Like, we probably could have went to the cottage, just snow would have been up to our waist or whatever. But and again, I would never have taken advantage of the situation. But I thanked her every day, and I meant it from the bottom of my heart, because I think that's a really important part. Aage, is there anything else you want to add to that at all, or?
Well, I totally agree. I think that what we do on the mastermind also, we get suggestions from the members about what should we concentrate on this time, and then we lock in on that. That could be more than one thing. Peace could be one of them. I know we did some major manifestation on peace during the election.
We have one coming that's not going well over here in Canada.
Yeah, that's going in Canada. We're still working on that one. We did it last time, and we're doing it again. But we even helped to stop a hurricane coming over from Africa. It was sneaking up the coast of Cuba at a category 4 and a 5, bouncing back and forth. In 90 miles to Florida, it collapsed to less than a tropical storm, or less than 60 miles an hour. That can't happen.
Yeah.
When a hurricane moves over hot, warm water, it picks up more moisture and becomes even stronger. So and of course, we can't take all the credit for that. There were people in groups everywhere, just about, in prayers and so on, that helped to collapse this hurricane.
Yep. Make it a non-event, exactly.
Yes. That was the term.
Yeah.
That's going to be an issue coming up, because while Hurricane Ida was here, I have a friend in Mexico. I don't know what the name of their hurricane was, but they got hit hard.
Yes.
Same as Joe. That you guys
on New York.
You guys were supposed to be on that night. What people probably don't realize, even though I'm in Canada, you guys are in the US and different places, and we actually broadcast out of New Orleans in Louisiana. And when Joe leaves, as he says, when he leaves the city, it's serious. He's grown up in New Orleans his whole life. I remember him saying that his whole family, like his kids and everybody else, checks in with Big Joe, because he's got a son named Little Joe. That if Big Joe says it's time to leave, it's serious. And they went all the way to Florida. They went 7 hours away.
Wow.
So, and I hear there's more coming. I think one of my friends I was talking to today, I think she lives in Georgia. She said there's another one coming, I believe.
Texas is getting hit.
Yes.
Like right now with a big storm, a tropical storm. I don't think it's a hurricane, but the warning for flooding, is, Lord, it doesn't flood in New York City. It doesn't flood inside the subway stations. I mean, I
saw the pictures. Yeah.
Crazy.
I think I mentioned that, though, is because I don't know how to, and obviously you're gonna do this. You're much better than I am at this, Nori and Aage, but to maybe really be able to encompass whomever or whatever is influencing, maybe assisting, because like you said, it doesn't flood in the subway tunnels of New York. No, we're not being conspiracy theorists or anything like that. It's just that to be all encompassing wherever it's coming from, natural or possibly maybe not natural, whatever it may be, right?
Exactly. And we very often have, okay, so if there are bad people doing bad things,
mm-hmm.
chances are they were not born bad. Some people, end up getting in a little bit of trouble, and then that trouble is used against them. So they're made to do bad things, like in payment for the trouble that they got into before that. So we very often offer the beam of pure light and love out there for the people who may want to walk away from darkness. Because there's a lot of people there that might want to put the key in the lock, and it's never too late to put the key in the lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because believe it or not, I actually had some compassion, if you will, for our premier, who would be like a governor in the States. And I never had before, but I did, because he made it very clear that he didn't want to go in the direction that he was. And all of a sudden, he changed his mind.
Wow.
But but he went in the wrong direction.
Oh.
But when you look back, there's an actual document that was leaked October 10th, 2020. And it said those that will be requiring the jab pass, or we will have it by September, is British Columbia, Manitoba, Ontario, and Nova Scotia. And lo and behold, September 1st. So to me, the reason what gave me compassion was this was not his decision. Like you said,
yes.
Yes. I think it really touched home there on a point that's important, Nori, is a lot of people do a lot of things. My dad always used to say, Laura, walk a mile in somebody's shoes. Exactly. But what I'm saying is, he was pretty emphatic he wasn't going to do this. And then all of a sudden switched on a dime day or two apart. Now, how many people are in these positions of power, like you said, that want to put the lock in the key, but for whatever reason believe they can't turn it, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think they're in too deep and they can't get out, but you can. So we like to offer that to everybody, to the universe, to the universe.
What do you think, Aage?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Or so many people that have turned their lives around, and they've had that courage and the support to do it. And there was somebody else I'm going to add before we get into it very quickly, is I hadn't thought of it this way, because our natural reaction is anger, despair, lack, loss of hope, and what have you. And they said, I've been sharing with people to send love, because love is one of the most powerful emotions. And they said as well, it's confusing, because most people are expecting that. They weren't doing it from a nefarious space, but to raise that vibration and put something more positive out there. Because one person can really raise the vibration depending on how powerful they are energetically. One person really can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And many of the people that is in government can also save themselves in a way, because many of them in leader positions, high leader positions, they have either taken the bribe money or they have something that they are being blackmailed for. But there are many of those now that is turning around and say, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
They walk away and becoming a whistleblower. So now there's many, many more than it used to be. And there's going to be more, because this, what is going on right now, will collapse. It is already collapsing around them. And this is going to blow up really bad. I see it in this timeline.
I'm glad you said that before we start. We'll have to leave enough time because I think this is really important for people to experience this, what we just talked about, Nori, about you sharing with everybody and what you're able to add to Aage when we have a little bit of a meditation. But we asked that specifically of spirit, and I think it's important to share this because it brings hope, is that the question was, will this end? Obviously, yes. Then we asked, does humanity prevail? Absolutely. But something that they brought up that was very important was they said those behind this, though, do not become completely eradicated. And they said because it's about balance, and I'm simplifying, about balance in this earth, that there was always those, if you will, in the light, and there were always those in the dark. And there always will be, but they are the minority, is what we were given.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's important. And then when you encompass the parameters and the principles of the mastermind concept, we know that we can't even change that even more so with, putting our minds together and focusing with, the right types of energy and thoughts. Just because, something is told no, and believe me, I think they have more insight in spirit, but then again, I don't think it's always written in stone. Some things are, like you said, Aage, absolutely. But how do we know we can't change it if we don't try?
Exactly. Right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think? Now, I don't know who's there. We got, looks like there's some people still watching live, but I'm not seeing the comments. So is there anything you're feeling, either one of you, sort of intuitively, or some of the things we've just discussed that you might feel like might be helpful? Or
I have a thought.
love it. Just one, Aage?
No.
It's just one. There is a lot of talk about the med beds.
Yes, there is. Yes.
And remember, Nori, when we, a few weeks, actually, maybe a month or couple back, when we did something on the mastermind where we allowed them to use the med beds now.
Good. Good.
Because there is a way to do that. And I would, should we just talk about this a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I'm going to set the stage for what I like to propose. And that is that our mind creates everything, even our illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you a quick story. It's going to take about 45 seconds. There was a guy named Maurice Goodman. He was in a plane crash, and the doctors told him that you're probably not going to be alive much longer because you have everything is broken. He broke his back above the chest, severed the spinal cord. I got this written down because I got to read it. And he punctured his diaphragm. He could only breathe with a ventilator. He could not move any part of his body. Now he understood the power of the mind and visualization. Short time, he went to work on it. For the next few months, he regenerated his diaphragm so he could breathe on his own again. And in a few months, he regrew the spinal cord and the spinal cord and the spine itself. The doctors were dumbfounded because he was up and walking just a few months after that he had shattered the spine. Same thing happened to Joe Dispenza.
Right.
And we all know him. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, this is something that we can do because the medbed is a mind-matter interface device. It works best when you put it in there and you subject it to the plasma, which is both a physical and quantum energy being exposed to, but also when you interject the mind of wanting everything to happen, it works better. So that's why Nori and we did this a while back, and I had some feedback saying that people felt good about it. I don't know anything up and beyond that, what happened. but we could do a little experiment like that again. What do you think?
I'm open. Are you, Nori?
Yeah, absolutely.
We
Yeah.
can throw it all in there, like throw in a little bit what you do and what you do too. Like I said, the more people get to experience this, and it's like people are going to hear this in the replay, the archives, and as we know, spirit, the universe, they all know whom is going to hear this and when and who it's going to reach and what have you, right? Even into the future, the quantum future.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And for those that don't really know what a med bed is,
Yeah.
it is what we would call future technology that is being used right now, but it's not privy to the people because God knows they have people upstairs. They don't want people to heal. They want to just milk them for money first.
Mm-hmm.
But it is kind of like a bed with a glass dome over it, and it is totally computerized with energies that both royal rife energies and other orgone energies and quantum plasma energies that is being injected into the physical body or the bioelectromagnetic field around you to rebuild the structure of the body.
Yeah.
In fact, they're starting to make some of them over in Germany right now, and they are making them available. Actually, they're back ordered. I read foreign newspapers. You don't see that in the US.
Mm-hmm.
For the people that want to try this out, visualize yourself on a bed, kind of like I guess a bed of some type with a glass dome over it,
like a tanning bed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it
yourself,
see-through?
Okay.
I don't care if you're missing a toe. I don't mean anything can be rebuilt.
That's what I know. I was flabbergasted when I started looking.
Any kind of illness, visualize it healthy. Tell yourself, I am perfectly healthy. And Nori, you did so good on this one when we did it. Maybe you could help us out on this one.
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to do, right?
So should we just start? How do you want to start?
So we only have about 15 minutes, so we'll have to be pretty concise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, maybe around.
We just want to give them a taste anyways, guys.
Just a taste.
We want them to come and join you
Exactly.
on Sundays and get the full experience so that they get to see something. And this isn't the only thing that's done, guys. Like there's all kinds of things, but I just go with spirit when I do the show very quickly. I always say, where are we going with this, spirit? And that's how the show goes. And that's what just came through. And I thought, yeah, let's give them a taste.
Yeah.
If nothing else, at least explain what we did and maybe go through a little bit of the introduction to it so that people can do it on their own later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start. Who wants to start? Nori, you want to start or Aage?
Sure. I'll start. So I'm just going to do what I usually do, Aage, and then you can, jump in something really brief.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. All right. So I'm basically just going to talk to you, and I'm going to invite you to begin to settle in. And I'm going to invite you to choose to go inward and just begin to maybe move your hips a little bit and just find that perfect, comfortable position on the chair and maybe sit back and relax your arms. And then just move your head around and find that perfect sweet spot where it's just effortless to hold your head up. And I just invite you to close your eyes and just begin to notice your breath. The cool air coming in through the nostrils, seemingly down the back of your throat, into your lungs. And just once you've inhaled all you feel like it, just exhale and let it go. And just breathing at your own pace again, taking the air in, filling your lungs, filling the bases of your lungs, and then just let it go. And one more time with your eyes closed, your neck relaxed. Take in just a little bit more air. When you think you've taken in all you can, take one more sip. And then when you let it go, let your body go. Relax your shoulders. We store so much tension in our neck and our shoulders. Relax your arms. Relax your hands. And just imagine, see, or feel golden white light in the palms of your hand. And just imagine, feel the golden white light warm in your hands, and drawing that warmth up your arms, into your neck, into your scalp and your head, and behind your eyes. Allow your eyelids to weigh heavy, and allow the golden white warmth to soothe behind your eyes and relax you even a little more deeply. As your mind relaxes, the body relaxes. And when your body relaxes, your mind relaxes. So just draw that golden white light down through your spine. And with each vertebrae that you pass, imagine the spaces between each vertebrae becoming a little bit bigger, and the spinal cord a little more relaxed. Allow the golden warmth to fill the back of your body, wrapping around your chest, under your collarbones, down over the rib cage, into your stomach muscles. Relax your stomach muscles. Relax your lower back. Just imagine that golden white light building in your belly, warming your belly, soothing the muscles, melting the muscles. And imagine relaxing all of your organs. And as the muscles and the organs relax, they just fall into their perfect positioning where they function the most optimally. Allow the weight of your hips to fall through the chair. Relax the big muscles on your buttocks and your hamstrings. And allow the weight of the front of your thighs to fall through to the back. From your thighs to the top of your head, loose and limp, relaxed, and just let go. Relax your lower legs. Allow the light to flow through your lower legs into your feet, relaxing now your whole body. And even though the body is relaxed and your mind is relaxed, you're always in control. You get to choose this short and brief journey that we travel on together. So as your body relaxes a little more deeply, in your mind's eye, imagine a stairway in front of you and begin to go down the stairs. With your hand on the railing, you sense the feeling of crystals. Nothing feels like crystals but crystals. And you notice that the railing is made of crystal and the stairs are made of crystal. And with each step that you take, going downward now, The frequency and the energy of crystal permeates your being. All of the amazing healing qualities of crystal comes to you now. And as you come to the bottom step, you see a room ignited with candlelight. And in the center of the room is a bed that looks like a tanning bed, but it's different. You walk up to it, you're in awe, maybe even childlike wonder at the beauty of it. It's crystal and it's gemstones. And you can see a beautiful ensconced place for you to lay in. But there's no dials. There's no levers. As you lay in the crystal med bed, you pull the top down, feeling safe and secure, knowing that you are in the highest, most generative energy of healing, and that is love. Just relax, knowing that you get to choose your next feeling of healing. You get to choose to make something well, to up-level it to the vibration of dynamic health and happiness. And as you wait in relaxation, when you hear Aage's voice, you'll stay relaxed as we journey together into higher healing and consciousness.
Yeah, stay in this state of mind. You feel very comfortable, you feel very good. You know you are in a safe place. You're inside the med bed. The lid is closed and you are inside. You can see through the top of it, and you know this is healing energy that is being put around you to repair and heal every part of your body, including the DNA. Whatever is wrong in your body is being repaired. This is a technology that is available at certain levels of society, and it can be yours. You started out in your mind because it is a mind matter interface device. Visualize yourself in this med bed. Feel the love and the good vibrations. Know it will repair your body at every level you think. Whatever you may think was wrong with your body is no longer there. It is being repaired. And you can do this at any time you want, because this technology will become available, but you have it now in your mind, because everything starts in the mind. The mind creates everything. The mind creates the med bed. The mind creates everything around you. So now consider it yours. Good health. And we thank you.
So just take a few more breaths here, enjoying the peace, enjoying your anticipated health. And after a few breaths, we're going to come back to the consciousness of the room. And when you come back, you'll be relaxed, rejuvenated, renewed. revitalized, ready for a good night's sleep or a beautiful day, depending upon where you are on the planet. So just begin to feel into your body now. Feel yourself seated or lying on whatever is supporting you. Feel into your legs and knees. Take another deep breath. Feel into your thighs and your hips. Coming back to the consciousness of the room in the higher vibration of health. Feel into your chest, your back, your shoulders, your arms, still feeling the warmth of the golden white light in your palms. Feeling into your neck, the back of your head, behind your eyes. Take a deep breath, open your eyes. Welcome back.
Thank you to both.
Welcome.
Beautiful. We are out of time, but I want you to know where to find you. I hope you two will come back again. What a pleasure and an amazing, I think, discussion we had tonight. And I hope a lot of people enjoy it and are able to utilize it. So you guys want to share very quickly? We didn't get to talk about your podcast. It goes by way too quick.
It does go
go ahead.
fast.
Let us know where you guys were. Again, we've mentioned some of the addresses, but you know, you guys get together with Broadcast Team Alpha and everything else. So go ahead. I'll stop talking.
Tuesday evening, Broadcast Team Alpha. You can go to our YouTube channel, Broadcast Team Alpha. You can go to the website, broadcastteamalpha.com. And you can pretty much find us everywhere under that name. So come join us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Love it. And we've talked about, just please don't forget the mastermind on Sundays and on Patreon. You can find the address, email again, the mastermindconnection@gmail.com.
Perfect.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Laura. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful friends.
Thank you for having us on. It was wonderful.
Amazing.
We always have fun together.
We finally got Nori on. Just gonna come back again. I know it's late for her.
Thank you.
And I want to remind everybody, thank you so much for being here with me. Please return next Monday, same time, same place, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 for the Angel Rock. And I can't recall off the top of my head who I have coming for a guest, but it's going to be a fun time. Please tune in, and I wish you all a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you may be. Love you guys so much. See you next week.
Love you.
Everybody.
Live long and prosper.
Yep.